students. I welcome you all to today's English class. In today's session, we will be learning about the last element of the essay, the poetry of the forest. So, the Earth University is inspired by Rabindranath Tagore, India's national poet and the National Prize laureate. Tagore started a learning center in Shantiniketan in West Bengal, India, as a forest school because he wanted to take inspiration from nature and also wanted to create India's cultural renaissance. So, this school became a university in 1921. It became one of India's most famous centers of learning. And Vandana Shiva here quotes. About Tagore's thoughts about harmony between man and nature and how diversity in nature teaches man to tolerate diversity in life. So she says, just as in Tagore's time, we need to turn to nature and the forest for lessons in freedom. So, in his essay, Tapovan, Forest of Purity, Tapovan means Forest of Purity. In this essay, Tagore says that India's civilization has been distinctive in locating its sources of regeneration, material and intellectual in the forest, not the city. So, India's best ideas have come where man was in communion with trees and rivers and lakes away from the crowd. So, the peace of the forest has helped the intellectual evolution of man. The culture of the forest has fueled the culture of the Indian society. So, Vandana Shiva quotes through Tagore saying that India's civilization has been distinctive in locating the sources of regeneration, material and intellectual, in the forest, not the city. India's best ideas have come where man was connected with the trees, rivers, and lakes, away from the crowd. So, the culture of the forest has fueled the culture of the Indian society. The culture that has arisen from the forest has been influenced by the diverse process of renewal of life, which are always at play in the forest, varying from species to species. So it is this unity in diversity that is basis of both ecological sustainability and democracy. Here, Vandana Shiva is trying to say that we need to be uh, unified with our diversified surrounding. So we need to have unity with the diversified surrounding. So diversity without unity becomes the source of conflict and contest. So unity without diversity becomes the ground for external control, for other people or other forces to control us. So this is true when we apply this both for our culture as well as nature. So the forest is a unity in its diversity. So the forest shows us how different variety of species, animals, plants, birds, or everything together in unity, how they learn to sustain and live in the forest. So unity is in diversity is exhibited as an example in the forest, and we are united with nature through our relationship with the forest. So how are human beings united with nature? It is only with our relationship which we share with the forest. So in Tagore's writing, the forest was just not source of knowledge and freedom, but it was the source of beauty and joy, of art and aesthetic, of harmony and perfection. It symbolized the universe. So, according to Tagore's writing, forest is not just a source of knowledge and freedom, but it is a source where we, uh, you know, magnify the harmony and perfection, where it symbolizes the universe living together in unity. The forest also teaches us enoughness, contentment, as a principle of equity, how to enjoy the gifts of nature without exploitation and accumulation. The forest has been a very good teacher for us to help us to learn how to enjoy the gift of nature without exploiting it, without destroying it, or without accumulating it, meaning consuming it, trying to save more than necessary. So, Tagore quotes from the ancient texts written in the forest: know all that moves in this moving world as enveloped by God, and find enjoyment through renunciation, not through greed of possession. No species in a forest appropriates the share of another species. Every species sustains itself in cooperation with the other. The end of consumerism and accumulation is the beginning of joy of living. The conflict between greed and compassion, conquest and cooperation, violence and harmony. Tagore wrote about whatever he wrote about all this continues even today. It is the forest that can show us a way beyond this conflict. So, Vandana Shiva says that it is the unity in diversity that is the basis of both ecological sustainability and democracy. Diversity without unity becomes source of conflict and contest. So, Vandana Shiva agrees with Rabindranath Tagore and says that it is only the forest which can teach us compassion and cooperation. Only when our lifestyle of consumerism and accumulation is changed do we begin to enjoy life. So, this is how she ends her entire essay, and this is how she shows us everything which she learns about the forest in the various different elements which we discussed in our previous class. So, with this, we try to conclude, and with this, we also come to an understanding that the forest is a unity in its diversity, and we are united with nature through our relationship with forest.